Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Install the Payable Forms add-on. Link your payment provider. Share and get paid. Your customers can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more. Save time and hassle by automating your payment process quickly and simply. Payable Forms gets you paid.
From Colonel Samuel Smith Park at Humber College South Campus at Etobicoke in Toronto, Canada, this is the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup, thanks to Payable Apps, helping sports teams simplify fee collection through their Google add-ons, payableapps.com. Welcome to Game 2 on Day 5, Women's Round 3. Here at the AFL Transatlantic Cup, we're ready for a showdown between the 2017 AFL International Cup champions, Ireland, versus the team that's making their international debut, the Colombian Jaguares. I'm Peter Holden. Thank you very much for your company on a day that's rather different to what we've had the last 4 days at the tournament, with the rain that's been slowly teeming down here, making conditions very wet at surface level and a temperature hovering around 19 degrees Celsius. I introduce to the audience my co-caller for today. You've heard him call hockey, you've heard him call wrestling, you've heard him call Aussie rules, the multi-talented Patrick McNeil.
You have never heard me call a game with Peter Holden, though, so this is a bucket list item at being achieved here as we take a look, Peter, at the Vision Glass women's standings. And this is not including the result of the game we just saw. Team Canada, of course, moving to 2-1, and the French women falling to 0-3, which puts them out of contention. You can see Great Britain also a 2-0 record. USA 1-1. The Irish team 1-1, looking to rebound from their loss to Team Canada. Of course, Canada moved to 2-1, Colombia 1-1. So both of these two teams are 1-1. Let's take a look at our players to watch as well. Becky O'Sullivan was best on ground for Team Ireland last contest. Lily Calderon for Colombia, vice captain. Certainly going to bring some leadership to a youthful Colombian team.
And the toss has been won by Ireland. They will be kicking to the left of screen. Kicking to the right of screen will be Colombia, and that is to the visitmississauga.ca end of the ground. For eThere Live, our broadcast partners for the AFL Transatlantic Cup, what are some of the keys to the game?
Well, for Ireland, they're going to want to put this to bed early. They know they have the capability to do that and rotate, get everybody involved, and set the standard, as they know they'll be playing some semifinal football. For Colombia, they want to pressure the Irish. Pressure. Use their voice, the vocal game, communication. So important. Aussie football coach Josh Kennedy, no doubt, communicating that to them. Be more free-flowing in play. Use your options. Doesn't always have to be the complicated kicks and handballs and kicks, and mix it up a little bit. And I look forward to seeing how the Colombians play against a talented Irish team.
Earlier today, we saw Canada defeat France 7-15-57 to no score. Coming up at 2 p.m. will be the final game of the women's pool, and that will be the USA and Great Britain. To get us underway for Ireland and Colombia, here's Patrick McNeil.
As we go to the center ball up, Ireland in green, Colombia in yellow. We go for the opening tap as the Irish are kicking towards Toronto. Colombia is ticking towards Mississauga, and you should absolutely visit mississauga.ca. Ball is up along, and the rain that we saw in the early part of the Canada game has returned as it's booted along the right side by Shauna Kendrick. Ball goes bouncing around. Going to be on Irish hands. Sharp angle kick through, and that is our first goal of the game, Peter. Just 22 seconds in off Irish boots. Irish eyes smiling early. They take a 1-0-6 no-score lead on the Payable Apps scoreboard.
And I think that's also a contender for our Payable Apps goal of the tournament. I reckon it was to number 16, Abby Noonan, who would be the youngest player on the team for the Irish band. She's just 20 years old, playing for the Cork Vikings. And don't mess with her, she's got a black belt in karate.
Yeah, definitely not going to be picking any fights with her. And we talked to the keys to the game, but the Irish putting this away early. And, well, that's certainly a good start to the game for Ireland. Again, they're kicking to the Toronto end. Colombia kicking to the Mississauga end. Ball up at center as we resume the action. It's tapped forward by 77 of the Ireland, Catherine Byrne. Ball on the ground as the... It'll be soccered along the ground. Of course, those are the instincts of a lot of these Colombian women, I'm sure. Definitely a background a lot of those players have. Great job by eThere Live, showing our moving pictures today as we get a tackle. And we talked about Colombia producing the pressure, doing a little bit of that here in the early going.
And ball up the tackle being laid on by Rubano. Umpire looks for the nominating rucks and throws the ball high in the air once again. One out by Tashburn. Put it straight down the throat there of Bronson, who was running with the football. Got to get through traffic. Umpire said a little bit of holding on behind play. It will be an Irish free kick, and they'll have the opportunity to have the ball on defensive side of centre wing. You can see them madly hinting to the bench for rotations as well, because, as we said, they want to try and get as many hands on the ball as possible, many players into form before the semi-final stage hits on Thursday. Here's the kick up the line, on the attacking side of centre wing here for the Irish. Everyone's going to jump on the ball. As we said, slippery conditions. It has been raining all morning so far. I think it's Quirk that's on the bottom of the pack there for the Irish as the umpire takes the football back. Benavidez versus Tashburn in that contest. Burn won it down for the Irish. The kick now coming inboard. Looking for the lead there of Anne-Marie Troy. She's been good so far this tournament. Troy kicking the ball off the ground, not electing to pick it up. Now slows down, tries to get hands on the football. It's like a piece of soap there at the moment. Very difficult to try and pick up. Had support coming in there from Oldham. Ball spilled out the side. Nearly having her shorts pulled down, but got the hand pass away, Shannon Stevenson. Good to see her back after having a bit of whiplash in game one, and she had to miss game two. Stevenson gets the football back, swings it around to the hot spot, 35 metres out from goal. Ball hit the deck. Foot race is going to be on here. Stepping around the corner. This could be a contender for the Payable Apps Goal. The tournament, as it got through, was it touched on the line? It was touched in the end. It was Bronson with that snap. And that minor score sees Ireland go to 1-1-7. Colombia no score.
Yeah, good work by the Colombian back line there. Get the hands up, prevent the major score. Ireland, though, back on the offense. Sharp angle, kick off the right boundary, and a key mark out in front of the goal square. Greatly done. That could be a contender for Payable Apps mark of the tournament. That is Abby Noonan of the Cork Vikings, youngest member of this team. Kick for goal. That is straight up and straight through. Beautiful mark and a nice kick to finish. Not going to miss from inside the goal square, I wouldn't think. Now Ireland moves to 2-1-13. No score Colombia on the Payable Apps scoreboard.
Dare I say, for the Irish, not only are they going to aim for the tournament championship and try and come home with some silverware, but you can see the AFLW clubs at the moment seem to have a love affair with Irish players. In fact, they're the youngest side in the tournament at the average age of 27.4. And when you've got someone like Noonan, again, playing well and just 20 years old, she could be catching some eyes of some recruiters. There's 34 Irish women at the moment playing in the AFLW.
Yeah, scouts no doubt watching and listening as the Irish win the center clearance as the ball goes along the left side. Chasing after it there is Anne-Marie Troy. Boy, she's been on the ball all the time. She'll move it by hands. Irish working along the left boundary. Kick deeper into the pocket. Looks like a good lead and a nice mark there by Shannon Stevenson. Boy, the Irish a treat to watch the way they're moving the ball. Setting up, maybe about 25 meters out or so. Kicks from the left side. Nice boot. Going up, and off Colombian hands, but it's available, and that is kicked off the boot of Shauna Kendrick, and that is going to be another major score for Ireland on the Payable App scoreboard. Ireland out in front early, as that goes 3-1-19, no score Colombia.
I'll tell you what, she wants the commentators to mention her name because she put down on the players' notes, which they could fill out before the tournament, about a few interesting facts about them. She says, I wear the bright green scrunchie. So as soon as we see bright green scrunchie, we know that's her. She obviously fancies herself. She's a quality footballer. She's played in the 2019 and 2022 AFL European Championship sides for the Banshees. Also played in the 2022 AFL Euro Cup, which is the nine-a-side tournament. We're back in the middle of the ground again. Benavidez versus Tashburn. Tashburn brought the football to ground. She's trying to tunnel ball it out. Quirk was going with her as well. Had support coming back there from Brosnan, who had quick hands. The Irish now move it up towards the half-forward flank position. Good clean hands there, and the hand pass was trying to find Grace Oldham, who went without the football. Had to go back again while under pressure. Going back, Marie Quirk with the football. Gets on the right boot. Goes inside 50. The ball at the feet of her intended target. She couldn't pick it up. It's the Irish clearly dominating here at the moment. Trying to get in there, Laura Garcia for Colombia. They try to lay a tackle again, but the ball squeezed out. That was Noonan. Hot potato hand pass. In fact, pardon me, was Condon, who now got it across to Brosnan. Brosnan now went backwards. They're retreating, the Irish, at the moment. They could cough it up here if they're not careful enough. Quirk knocks the opponent, and Valentina Rodriguez out of the way. A little bit of holding on as the player's over the ball. Watch for Quirk. She's down behind play. Going in there is CJ Murphy. Murphy picks it up. Gets on the left boot. Mark taken there, being held up by Grace Oldham. Umpire calls play up with the player on the ground. probably, if I was in that position, I might have stopped play. But nonetheless, it goes across to Stevenson. Stevenson now swings around on the right boot. Wants to go inside 50 with a kick. Finds a player taking the mark. The one with the green scrunchie that we talked about. And that is Shauna Kendrick. She's considering a shot on goal from about 40 metres out. Wants to go with a pass. It works out okay. And taking it and holding it up there, the number 11, Annie Walsh. Walsh comes in and kicks the goal.
Big goal for the Irish. That's the Irish footballer, Annie Walsh, not the former communications facilitator at Cape Breton University. Ireland getting great distribution from everybody, but a bit of a troubling scene perhaps right in front of us, as it's the player, I believe, Maria Quirk, that's going a little bit slow off the field, but she is going to go through the interchange gates, so they're hopeful that she's going to be back. Maybe a little bit ginger on that right leg.
Well, yeah, they certainly want her back, because not only would they be one player down if she wasn't there, but a very experienced campaigner, 30 years old, has played in the 2019 and 2022 AFL European Championships, the 2022 and 2023 AFL Euro Cups, and the 2021 Clover Cup.
Ireland back on the attack, moving towards the right side. Good hands there by Catherine Quiwa as the ball inside 50, shallow entry for the Irish, and it's been a little bit too easy for them in the early going. We talked about them wanting to put it away early. There is a centering kick. Nice mark there by the captain, Amanda Bronson. She'll kick it forward. Nice clean mark again. That is Shannon Stevenson, who's had a lot of the ball. Here she's going to back up. Looks like she's got a pretty good angle on this kick. Again, Ireland up 4-125. No score, Colombia here in the early going. Stevenson will back up and then head forward. Ball is off the boot. Doesn't look too bad. And that is going to go through for a major score. Ireland with their fifth here. Just past the 8-minute or so mark. 5-1-31. Ireland off and running here in the early going.
Shannon Stevenson normally plays for the Cork Vikings, just 25 years old, has played in the 2022 AFL European Championships, Euro Cups of 22 and 23, and the 21 Clover Cup. The top goal scorer in Ireland for the last 3 years. So that's what they were concerned when she had that little bit of whiplash after that first game and that she had to sit out. And it is getting to a point of a game. They've got a very comfortable 31-point lead early on that the Irish coaching staff will have to consider of, okay, when do we take our better players off? Marie Keating is not playing at this moment, so she's clearly one of their better players, so you can see they're being very conservative to make sure that they're at full fitness when they hit semi-final stage, most likely against the Great Britain Bulldogs, as the umpire blows the whistle, says holding the football, and it's going to be a free kick going the way of Colombia. So Diego Ares has the opportunity to move the ball from their centre half back and try and attack in towards the centre of the ground. Slipping on the backside there, I think it's Galatiros, couldn't pick up the football. Going in there now is Condon. Guiva Condon goes out towards the centre wing on the Lake Ontario side of the ground. Chasing after the football at the moment is Lawler. Karen Lawler picks it up, has to go hand passing backwards, works out okay to CJ Murphy. Murphy now goes towards the half forward flank position, almost falling on her Kuiper pass there. Taking the mark was Condon. Condon went inside 50, dribbling football at the moment, going down with a chase down from behind is Laura Garcia. The ball popped out. Here's an opportunity for the Irish, 25 metres out from goal, trying to make some space and going with a hand pass is Brosnan. Sold the teammate right up the creek. She got caught straight away, and the umpire says in the back, and it will be a free kick for the Irish, and they'll have a shot on goal from 25 metres out, 45-degree angle.
Right idea for the Colombians to get that pressure going, but again, maybe a bit of inexperience in terms of the rules. They're going to see a free kick for Anne-Marie Troy, it looks like, who's had, it is going to be Quive Condon with the kick for Ireland, and she's had a little bit of the ball as well. She's got an opportunity here, and we're talking about Maria Quirk. She's being treated right now in the tent. Condon with a big kick through, and we'll wait the umpire's call on that. It's a goal, as it is Quiva Condon with a major score for Ireland. That is the sixth 6-point score. Ireland 6-1-37. No score, Colombia. Irish coming out guns blazing here in this first quarter.
Should mention she represented Ulster in the 2023 AFL Euro Cup. In fact, she just completed her Masters in dietetics and now works as a clinical dietitian at the Landau Hospital in Cardiff.
Well, if any of her teammates are in trouble, she'll be able to help out, and obviously helping out on the score sheet early. Of course, Colombia has that 1-1 record heading into this game, as does Ireland. Colombia will want to keep that percentage up to give themselves a chance in today's contest should the USA lose, because they would both be tied with one victory. So you hear the instructions coming from the coaches on the boundary as we're going to get another ball up at the center.
6-6 warning against Colombia because they were doing it interchange and they didn't have enough players in defense.
Yeah, I've seen that warning issue because a lot of these teams are not necessarily familiar with the mandatory 6-6 formation coming off the center bounce or center clearance. I guess we're not seeing a lot of bouncing in today's conditions as ball on the ground there trying to be protected by the Colombian player. It'll come back out slowly towards the Irish forward 50. Ireland kicking towards Toronto. Colombia kicking towards Mississauga, and you should visit Mississauga.ca. Ball on the ground here as the Colombian player trying to bat it out with her hand. I'm not sure if she was able to do so, and I think the umpire is going to say that is my ball.
Umpire will take the football back. Throw it high in the air, and away we go again. Benavides up in the contest versus Casserly, who won it down for the Irish. They move it forward towards Valentina Rodriguez. She immediately gets swarmed upon, and again will call for a ball up. Because France lost in the earlier game and they're zipping 3, that means automatically on the Vision Glass tournament standings, Ireland and Great Britain will proceed through to the semi-final stage, and they will meet on Thursday. And taking the kick away here is Bronson. Bronson with a long ball looking for Stevens. It was being held. Gave off a little hand pass. Now putting it on the left boot is Quiver Condon, and it's away to the left-hand side. Will dribble over the boundary line and out of bounds. And I should mention our tournament standings are thanks to Vision Glass, the GTA's exotic car experts, auto glass, convertible tops, and sunroofs. You want to know who will make the insurance claim process easy? VisionGlassToronto.com.
Boundary throw in from the umpire in the Irish forward 50. Ireland obviously having all the ball thus far in the early part of this game, and they know they're going to that semifinal against Great Britain. But these women don't get a ton of opportunity to play in international competition. They want to make every one of these games count, even if they know how the standings are going to play out. Ball up there is won by the Irish as a height advantage there for Anne-Marie Troy. Out the back, option executed by Team Ireland. Handball across as that was Lisha Casarelli trying to get her hands on the ball. It's being nudged out towards the 50-meter arc, being kept alive in the back there by Team Ireland's Grace Oldham. And Colombia slowly but surely moving this ball down to the end of the field as they want to go visit Mississauga as the ball is along the ground. And again, we're still seeing a little bit wet conditions on the ground. Even as the sky's clear, the grass probably still pretty wet, and both these teams having contend with that. Under 5 to go here in this first quarter.
And one of the Colombian players down at the moment, and they're stopping the clock to ask for the... Looks like it might be Luisa Palacio that's down on the ground. They're asking for the trainers to come out and attend to her. And while she does so at the moment, the umpire is holding that football, which is thanks to the Australian High Commission to Canada, sponsoring all the balls used throughout this tournament. In fact, they're responsible for advancing Australia's interests in Canada, and you can visit them online at canada.embassy.gov.au.
And no doubt part of that is the expansion of Australian football, which certainly is being advanced by the 2024 Transatlantic Cup, which you're watching here on There Live. Great production by There Live, bringing you the moving pictures you're seeing today. And, of course, it is being streamed all on AFL Canada's YouTube channel. This is the second of 3 games today. Earlier today, Team Canada producing a win over France. Later today, Brian Barish, of course, from USAFL will be alongside David Smith to bring you the action of there. Pardon me, that's Peter Holden. Correction. We're not trying to kick you out of the booth, Peter. Just too many factoids here. But Peter Holden and Brian Barish will have the call for you as Team USA takes on Great Britain. That's always a rivalry in sports and in life.
And may I say, there is a wild card that has been introduced into that game. She missed the first 2 games as she was out of the country, attending her parents' 40th wedding anniversary. But Danny Marshall, the first North American woman to play in the AFLW, played 2 seasons with the Western Bulldogs, 2 seasons with Essendon. She will be pulling on the jumper for the first time for the USA Freedom. Just quietly, I don't think Great Britain's prepared for what's about to hit them.
Well, that's her presence is going to sell some tickets, but you don't have to buy them. You can come down and watch all the action for free, whether you're watching it on YouTube or here at Colonel Samuel Smith Park at Humber College. We'd love to see some fans out. Maybe a little bit less in terms of attendance today due to the rainy conditions. And the Colombian player, I believe that Peter said was Palacio, is making her way off. Looks like she's going to go through the interchange gates. Nice to see her go off at her own power, but she's being escorted by some company as we get a ball up to resume the action, and the clock will start running again. Under 5 minutes to go. Ball up, won by Ireland, almost right in the center area there. As trying to push that forward was Dara Power. Liked her play thus far this tournament. Of course, a lot to like about a lot of the Irish players, but it is going to be a free kick for Colombia, one of the few they've had thus far in this game.
On the Lake Ontario side of the ground, they'll kick it up towards the centre wing position. Trying to put the hands out there, CJ Murphy. Couldn't quite pull the football in. The umpire says going nowhere, and I'll ask for the football back, please. Between centre wing and the half-forward flank, flank for Colombia, going to the visitmississauga.ca end of the ground. Scrapping in there and trying to pick it up there is Leisha Casserly. Umpire once again says going nowhere. Locking it in there, Sarah O'Donovan for the Irish Banshees. Umpire throws the football up in the air and away we go again. One out by Casserly on that occasion. Quick little hurried hand pass, didn't get in there. Grace Oldham tried to throw in the boot. Mind where you step there. Also trying to jump in there is Eva Cherry for Colombia. Just keeping the ball in front of herself is Gutierrez. Electing not to pick it up, going with the soccer skills in these wet conditions, which actually might be the smartest move. Gains about 35 metres. Player gets bowled over by Panetta, and the umpire says you can't do that. That will be a free kick going the way of the Irish in the back pocket, and they're going to clear through Hennigan.
Up the right boundary it goes. Ball goes bouncing along. Irish trying to protect the ball. They do a good job of that, but footsteps are being heard. And ball out to Casarelli. Ball comes along the right side. Nice mark and a nice play on. Good option executed there by the Irish. They have numbers as well. Kick inside 50. Nice mark there by Shauna Kendrick. Boy, we're saying her name a lot today. Centering kick for a mark. It's going to bounce off the grass, and it comes out to Grace Oldham. She'll make that short kick. Don't know if that was 15. Doesn't matter. Irish keep possession. Troy takes a boot at the goal square, and she puts it right through. It is a goal kick for Anne-Marie Troy of the Cork Vikings, making her international debut. 7-1-43 Ireland. No score Colombia on the Payable app scoreboard.
And, of course, Payable Apps helping sports teams simplify fee collection through the Google add-ons, payableapps.com. So 2.5 minutes remaining here in the first term. Just a reminder again, on the women's side of the draw, we are playing 17.5 minutes with no time on except for injuries. As you saw a couple of minutes ago, on the men's side of the draw, they are playing 20 minutes straight with no time on except for injuries. Umpire with the ball back in the middle of the ground, throws it up in the air again. Benavides versus Casserly. Casserly wins it out for the Irish, gains about 10 metres. They slap it to the advantage of Grace Oldham, who overran the football. Nearly tripped someone accidentally there in the contest. Umpire has said it's a trip going the way of Colombia, and they'll have the resulting free kick at the halfback flank position. They're just looking to reset play now. Now, who's going to call for it? Running across there was Benavides, offering some options. Also, the longer distance was Espina, if she can run onto the football. Here comes Espina now, waiting out the back. That was the smarter play, but she just couldn't quite find the football. Tackle light on, ball a cry. Umpire says no, not paying it. Right up against the boundary line here, and it will drop and go out, being watched over there by Murillo. And the umpire says, I'll throw the football in, thank you. On the half-forward flank for the Colombians, attacking the visitmississauga.ca end of the ground.
It's good pressure there, though, by Colombia, like that tackle by Carolina Alvarez, and now we get to a boundary throw in almost inside 50 as the Colombia tries to visit Mississauga.ca. Of course, the Colombians don't have the height in those rucks, and once again, that comes into play right now. As short kick goes, the required 15, perhaps just barely, as Vice Captain Annie Walsh will boot it out to Anne-Marie Troy. On the left side of the field, nice boot, bring it towards inside 50, hands up, no mark there, despite a nice effort, and the ball is going to be kicked out, and that goes bouncing. It's in the goal square, perhaps clear opportunity, going to be keeping it along the ground, and that was Rachel O'Shea that wasn't able to quite get her hands on that. Again, tough to pick up the football with that wet ground despite her best efforts.
And that long kick there was by Scully. She was looking for Mulder, but this is not the X-Files. As we wait for the ball to be thrown in, 2 metres around from that left-hand point post at the Toronto City Centre end of the ground. Players are going to set themselves. Not the greatest of throw-ins in the world, and the umpire says, no, we can let it go on. So the Jaguares of Colombia will now move the ball in the middle of the ground. Getting it there is Robano. She moves the ball along quickly, but it's at the feet there of Dara Power. Power's going to be besieged upon. Trying to jump into that pack situation was Bahoukes. She couldn't get the football. It was an Irish ball out towards centre wing, looking for Noonan. But the siren has sounded to indicate quarter time here at Colonel Samuel Smith Park at Humber College, South Etobicoke, Toronto, Canada. And on our Payable app scoreboard, helping sports teams simplify fee collection through their Google add-ons at payableapps.com. It's Ireland 7-1-43, leading Colombia, no score. Patrick McNeil, who was standing out for you in that first term?
Well, a lot of great names to be using for Ireland. You look at the play of Shauna Kendrick as well as Shannon Stevenson. A lot of just good ball movement from the team. And if you're executing well, it ends up not being so much about the individual, but just good ball protection, good use of the options. And even you see the experience of the Irish. Even when Colombia was getting numbers of the ball, the Irish women just know how to protect, and they know how to win those contests even when they're outmanned numerically.
And, of course, our player MVP is thanks to Powerwood Custom Cedar Supplies done right. Cedar Supplies based in Western Canada, powerwood.com. And we should mention, when we get to the grand final stage, the grand final MVPs, it's thanks to Blundstone Canada and Tin Shack, an Australian legend that has travelled all the way to Canada, Blundstone. And you can see him online at blundstone.ca. Goal kickers at quarter time look like this for the Irish. It's 2 to Noonan, singles to Kendrick, Walsh, Stevenson, Condon and Troy. We'll take this opportunity to take a break at quarter time. It's Ireland by 43 points at the AFL Transatlantic Cup, presented by Payable Apps.
Australian football is in Canada. Fast. Tough. Spectacular. Fun. Join AFL Canada. Visit aflcanada.com.
Footy fans, you need to know about AFL Canada Shop. AFL Canada Shop has great items, whether you are a player, a coach, an umpire, a fan of Team Canada, or helping to grow this great game. Plus, AFL Canada Shop sells the highest quality Australian footballs at the best price anywhere. And we ship everywhere in the footy world. So visit AFL Canada Shop today at aflcanadashop.ca.
Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Install the Payable Forms add-on. Link your payment provider. Share and get paid. Your customers can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more. Save time and hassle by automating your payment process quickly and simply. Payable Forms gets you paid.
At Colonel Samuel Smith Park at Humber College South Campus, Etobicoke in Toronto, Canada. This is the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup, thanks to Payable Apps, helping sports teams simplify fee collection through their Google add-ons. PayableApps.com. Peter Holden and Patrick McNeil with you for this clash between Ireland and Colombia. This is day 5 of competition, women's round 3, game 2. And at the moment, it is Ireland with a comfortable lead, 7-1-43 to Colombia, no score. Obviously, for the Irish, they're just chugging along nicely. For them, this is a nice warm-up coming into their semi-final. How did Colombia start chipping into this up against a side that has been dominant for a decade or more?
Well, it's just about the little things. It's about winning possessions and creating pressure. It's, about appreciating that nice tackle, appreciating that nice handball, appreciating that nice kick. And you play against a team like Ireland, you don't want to get caught star watching, which is pretty easy to do in that first quarter, but try to observe what they're doing and try to take just a little morsel of that to improve your own game.
We're not too far away from starting this second term. Ireland will be kicking to the right of screen, which is the Visit Mississauga.ca end of the ground. They're the tournament hotel and transit partner of the tournament. And with hundreds of must-see experiences, plenty of gorgeous scenery, world-class eats and events, Mississauga is yours to explore.
Certainly is, as the Irish try to move the ball down that way. Again, Ireland ahead 43-0 as the ball along the ground. Seeing a lot of that, of course, conditions pretty clear right now, but it was raining earlier, so there's still some waterlogged grass out there. Ball picked up by the Colombians. They try to advance the ball towards their forward 50. Hits Irish hands. Centering kick there by the Irish goes bouncing towards the 50-meter arc. There is a good run for the captain, Amanda Bronson. She'll kick it out to the goal square. And again, we talk about the rainy conditions. Somebody just lost their footing there, but the pressure remains on here for Team Ireland. Battle on the ground is who's going to be able to pick it up? Will anybody be able to pick it up? As that was Rachel O'Shea that's battling for it. Nice kick and a dodge there by the Colombians. Not able to complete the mark, though, as the Irish pressure continues. Boot off the ground, live play, and that goes out of bounds. We're about 45 seconds into the second quarter.
So the ball over the boundary line, and we're waiting for it to be thrown back in. It's just gone into the woods behind the goal. Ball's obviously just gone to visit Mississauga.ca, and umpire's blown the whistle and said it's out of bounds on the full, so it is a free kick going the way of the Aguares. And they'll go with a bit of a flat kick that skewed off the side of the boot. Rabino's under all kinds of pressure there, Murillo. And the umpire said she copped it in the back. Andrea Murillo there, making her international debut this tournament. The Antigua Mountain Lions in the AFL Colombia women's competition. Her kick to the opposite back pocket is going to be turned over. Here's an opportunity now for the Irish. I think this might be through the 77, and Tash Byrne, she's away to the left-hand side and will register as a minus score. Ireland 7-2-44. Colombia no score. Just under 16 minutes remaining in the second term.
Yeah, goal kick for Colombia here following the minor score by the Irish. Looks like it's going to be kept along the right side. Kick didn't go as planned. Went a little bit higher instead of a little bit longer. Ball will be kept in bounds, though. Again, the Irish pressure is there. You see those soccer instincts. Sometimes you have to pick up the ball, though, and that was what was done there. But quick smother, ball goes out of bounds. Don't think there was really much of an opportunity to play. And that will be another boundary throw-in from the umpire there in the pocket.
As we wait for the ball to be thrown back in the play, it's spinning back in. Misses both rucks as it floated in the breeze. Gutierrez gets knocked over and the umpire blows the whistle. Now, what will he adjudicate here? As dropping the football, and it'll be going the way of the Irish and in the hands of the number 9 in Amanda Bronson. Bronson, the captain of the side, out of the Cork Vikings, mother of a 3.5-year-old in Nia.
And Peter, looks like she's opted to hand the ball off. I'm not sure to see who makes this kick.
And at the top of the goal square, had it momentarily, was Kendrick. Tried to get the hurry kick in, but it was stolen away from her. Her kick, though, is going to be intercepted, and I think that might be Lawler that's going to take the intercept mark for the Irish. She's about 35 metres out from goal. Going back, sees the running player screaming for the football is Quiva Condon. Condon got caught straight away, got the hand pass out under heavy pressure. Noonan was running nearby, couldn't pick it up. Umpire blows the whistle and says free kick, and it will be going the way of the Irish, and it's going to hand in the hands of the youngest player on the team, Abby Noonan.
Yeah, Abby Noonan, the 20-year-old player, plays for the Cork Vikings. Already represented Ireland multiple times in international competition prior to flying over to Toronto into the airport, which is located in Mississauga. You should visit Mississauga.ca. There's a tackle by the Colombians. Don't know if there was any prior opportunity, and we will get a ball up. I think that might end up being an earned free kick by the Colombians, and that's that good pressure we were talking about. I'd like to see more of that. This is a Colombian team that is not lacking in spirit. High kick goes up in the air. That's going to lead to a contest. Hands are up everywhere. Ball still bouncing along the ground. It comes to the Irish hands. That is going to be kicked by Louise Scully. Ball will bounce and dribble into the forward 50 for the Irish. Hands are up now in the contest as Amanda Bronson, the captain of Ireland, is trying to win that ball. It'll come bouncing along towards the goal square. Irish on attack here in the forward 50. Handball option executed to Karen Lawler, but we have a whistle from the umpire. I think it might be taking the ball here. No, we are going to get a free kick for Colombia.
Yeah, and I think it might be in the hands of Paredes, who might have it for Colombia. She elects to go to the right-hand side, then kick it towards the half-back flank. Was trying to find the intended target there in Ibacheri, but was outmarked. Irish football, they'll go towards the pocket. Works out okay. I think Noonan again just managed to create some space, and she's got it about 45 metres out from goal. Still a long way out from home, looking to acknowledge a lead. Flying through the air and couldn't get it is Kendrick, and the ball will... in fact, I was going to say it went over the boundary line and out of bounds, but the umpire's blown the whistle to indicate there was a push in that contest, so it will end up with Shauna Kendrick, and she'll probably be about 25 metres out from goal. Now, in dry conditions, you'd say, yep, should be able to get it from there, but with a wet football, not all that easy. Kendrick, how does she go for goal? The goal umpire comes in and says she's missed it to the left-hand side and registers the minus score. So on the Payable app scoreboard, it's Ireland 7-3-45, Colombia no score. The next voice you'll hear is Patrick McNeil.
Thank you, Peter. That may have been a goal in better conditions, but as you said, challenging to kick in the rain. Ball's made its way out to the 50-meter arc as Ireland trying to push it back in for shallow entry, and they do just that with a handball. Ball comes back now onto the ground, and I think there was a tackle without the football there, as that was Louise Scully that went down, as the umpire will bring the ball back to the spot, so to speak, and we are going to get it. I think that, again, that's an Irish free kick, as ball carrier did not have the ball at the moment, so that will lead to a free kick for Ireland. That is going to be Louise Scully, plays for the South Dublin Swans. She's from Montesteroven, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Plays Gaelic football and soccer, very atypical Irish sports background before delving into Australian football as well. Switch across to the left side of the field, or actually that's more towards the corner. A nice mark executed there, as that is going to be Ireland. I think that is Grace Oldham that's got the ball.
Grace Oldham played for MTU at the 2024 AFL Fitzpatrick Cup and won the championship there. Kicks it towards the goal square. Just went through the hands. Couldn't control it there. Amanda Bronson emerged as another minor score. Ireland 7-4-46. Colombia no score. 11 and a half minutes remaining in the second term for Payable Apps. The kick out from fullback goes into heavy traffic. It's like Uber drivers lining up there at the moment. Trying to knock it around there is Scully. Couldn't do so for the Irish. Getting the kick away ball. Hawkes gets it out towards the centre wing on the Lake Ontario side of the ground, but the Irish again are just whipping around in numbers. They're just about everywhere at the moment. The ball goes inside towards the Stevenson direction. She tries to soccer it off the carpet. Stevenson goes again. She couldn't pick it up. Ball still in dispute. Waiting for it is Scully if they want to pop it out to her. Putting her head over the football, I think might have been Oldham, and the umpire blows the whistle. And once again, we'll call for a ball up. 20 metres out for the Irish goal to the visit Mississauga.ca.
Talk about little victories. Colombia creating more pressure, not making it easy on Ireland. Starting to turn some of those goals into behinds, which is a good thing. Obviously, want to keep them off the score sheet altogether, but one step at a time for Colombian football. Nice candy sold there by Abby Noonan, but perhaps tried a little bit too hard, and she is caught, and it's going to be free kick for Colombia. And they will have an opportunity to kick out of the defensive 50. Backing up here is the Colombian player. I believe that was Yemi Natalia Boricas Yankun. And the ball will be kicked up. In again, keeping it in the quarter, still inside the Irish forward 50. And I think we're getting another ball up again. Ball in dispute along the ground in the wet ground here on the campus of Humber College. And the rain has started teething again, Peter.
As it's now going to be in the hands of Tash Byrne. Represented Ireland in netball and orienteering as she kicks it inside 50 towards the goal square. It's going to be sent back from whence it came by the Jaguares. Hands up in the air through the hands of Murphy, who couldn't control it. Also flying through the air there is Diaz, who couldn't get the football. Now it's on the ground. They're just trying to do some body work there. Mahita tries to get it out for Colombia. Moves it in towards the centre square. Plenty of Irish players around the ball at the moment. Under pressure, had to get rid of it is Annie Walsh. The Colombians now moving it for the first time past their centre circles, I think, for the... No, it won't be because it'll end up being a free kick going to Sarah O'Donovan in the end. Also plays rugby, and she's married to the Irish men's captain in Paul Murphy. Sarah O'Donovan, defensive side of the centre circles. As the rain is teeming down here at Colonel Samuel Smith Park. She swings it around to the wing position, Lake Ontario side of the ground. Current score at the moment, Ireland 7-4-46, Colombia no score.
Kick along the left boundary is completed by the Irish as they move it forward again. And the Ireland side in the heavy lead at the moment. They're trying to add to that as it's moved forward. Kick out towards forward 50, shallow entry, but an intercept marked by Colombia. Seeing more of that from the Colombian defense, doing a better job as this game goes along, although this may not have been cleanly done, as it looks like the umpire is saying the ball may belong to him. No, it looks like it's going to the Irish, and that is a free kick for their captain, Amanda Bronson. She'll kick it forward. She's been very good in this game today thus far. Ball goes dribbling along. Good job by the Irish to keep that in. Good protection. Kick up, and it goes over the Colombian defender and through for a major score. Ireland 8-4-52. No score for Colombia on the Payable Apps scoreboard. Don't forget to visit payableapps.com.
Shannon Stevenson, that is her second goal, and the lead goes out to 52 points. And the best way to describe this game at the moment is like that Australian treat, fairy bread. The Colombians are the bread with the margarine, but the Irish are the hundreds and thousands. They're all over them.
Almost as many as there are attractions to see, and visit Mississauga.ca as they are a tournament sponsor as we go to center for the ball up. And again, it is 52-0 Ireland as the tap will be won by the Irish. Not done correctly, it appears. And again, you see the experience of Ireland, but also a bit of a height advantage. Definitely helps in those ruck contests. And I think we're going to get a redo on this ruck. Oh, no, spoke too soon.
6-6-6 against Colombia.
Yeah, and again, that's a second violation. They'll give them a warning, and then the next time they end up being penalized. That's why Ireland has earned the ball here. Ball along the left side of the field. Nice handball option. Ends up in the hands of Amanda Bronson. Centering kick will find its way to Quiva Condon, who's had a lot of the ball today as well. She'll take a kick, not towards goal, but towards a goal square mark. Nicely executed. Good ball movement, and ends up in the hands of Shannon Stevenson once again. Ball is finding its way into her hands quite a bit. She's going to have an opportunity to kick her third of the game. Lines it up again. The rain starting to team down, as Peter mentioned earlier. Trying to kick that ball through the uprights. Looking good. And that's a major score. Goal number 3 on the day for Shannon Stevenson. That moves things to 9-4-58. No score in the Payable Apps scoreboard. Maybe a bit of a rough patch by their standards to start the second quarter, but the execution is back on for the Irish Banshees.
With Shannon Stevenson's goal, she actually joined her teammate Anne-Marie Troy, tied with Amanda Bowe of the USA for the most goals kicked for the tournament on the women's side of the draw. And reminding you that she's played one game less. She missed out in Game 2 after having a bit of whiplash in Game 1 of the tournament as the umpire throws the ball up in the air again. Benavides in there trying to get a hurry kick out. Laura Garcia. She slipped over but somehow managed to knock the ball about 20 metres forward. CJ Murphy got the hand pass out there. Calling for it there is Grace Holdham, who now goes up towards the centre half forward position. Mark taken, swallowed nicely there by Dara Power. Power, who first played Aussie rules in 2020 with Toronto's Central Blues, moves the football inside 50 with the kick. Getting on it is Stevenson. Stevenson puts on the afterburners. Stevenson gets another! You can see why she has been the leading goal scorer for the last 3 years in Ireland.
Well, that is moving towards a bag as that is her 4th of the game. 9-4-58, no score. Columbia, the Payable app scoreboard. And really, she turned on the afterburners, Peter.
I'm telling you one thing right now. Stevenson at the age of 25, I don't know if she's been down to Australia yet, but if she's considering it, I'd just start to take a few of this vision from Game 1 and Game 3 and put together a little bit of a highlights tape, and I think a few Australian clubs would be salivating at the opportunity of having her on the list. 10-4-64 Ireland. Colombia, no score. About 5 minutes remaining in the second term for Payable Apps.
As the rain begins to pour down, as we get the center tap, it is initially won by Ireland, but good job following the ruck contest by Colombia. Ball is being pushed out towards the Toronto end, where the ball has not been much of this second quarter because Ireland has been making sure that ball goes to visitmississauga.ca as we have a ball up, it looks like. Not a lot of prior opportunity there. And I think the umpire is coming saying, hey, that's my football with 4:47 left in the second quarter. Another ruck contest tapped forward by the Irish. Ball is bouncing up in the sky. Where is it going to land? As I said, it's tough to pick it up here in these wet conditions. And handball option executed by Team Ireland. Again, the Banshees in those green and black Fadiant jumpers. Ball kicked towards the forward 50. Nice leading option. Not executed by a clean mark, though, but Irish still on the attack, marching towards the goal square. Going to be picked up by who else? Shannon Stevenson. This time, though, she's feeling pressure, and that was some good work there by Andreo Paulo Murillo Bravo as the Colombians try to move it along the right side of the field, just outside the 50-meter arc. Ball goes dribbling. Will it stay in bounds as it's kicked along the right side? As I think the ball did go out. That's what the umpire is signaling on the other side of the field.
And he's saying out of bounds on the full as they point around. And now he's giving the lasso. Yep, signaling lasso because we are playing that in the women's game, not the men's. That is, if a player kicks the ball out of bounds, and it doesn't even have to go out and bounce the full. If it bounces and goes out, or even they handball the ball over the boundary line between the two 50-meter arcs, that means it's a free kick to the opposing team. Here's the opportunity now for Power, who kicks along the line looking for Stevenson. She's being guarded there by Provida, and the ball goes over the boundary line and out of play. Tough day today for Colombia playing in these conditions, finding themselves down by 64 points. But as we say, it is their first international tournament, so it is a learning experience. And the great thing is because this has been captured by eThere Live, they can go back and watch the tape again and add that to their local competition, the knowledge they take out of this tournament to try and build on their game. As it's kicked out there by Leon, and the umpire says it's an intercept mark taken here now by the Irish, this time by CJ Murphy. Murphy wants to work it sideways. Mark taken around about 45 metres out from goal as the rain teams down at the visitmississauga.ca end of the ground.
Free kick just outside the 50-meter mark for the Irish. Kick booed heavy, and that almost has the strength to go to goal square, but instead it's going to be intercept marked by Colombia. Option to play on. Ball is booted out, and what you can do, we can do better as one intercept mark for another. That is going to be marked by Danny Downey of the South Dublin Swans for Team Ireland. Looks like she'll have a good kick at goal, and then she's probably about 40 meters out here. Opportunity to kick at goal for number 12, and she's making her international debut. Also plays Gaelic, because of course she does. She'll kick it through, or try to kick it through, and that will go off for a minor score. And the scoreboard now reads at 10-5-65. No score for Colombia on your Payable app scoreboard.
Don't forget, coming up at 2 p.m. local time, we have Great Britain versus the USA as the ball is kicked back into play. An awkward bouncing football here. Chasing after it is Calderon. Lady Calderon, as we said, one of the players to watch as part of our keys to the game by eThere Live. Now trying to shorten it up there to Gutierrez, who had it momentarily, went back, got it again, then kicked it long up the line. Gutierrez, a lovely long kick out there to centre wing. Now getting there, Valentina Rodriguez overruns the football, runs into an Irish sandwich. She is the meat in the middle, and the umpire says going nowhere, no opportunity. We'll call for a ball up on center wing.
We got a ball up, as Peter said, at the center wing in the middle of the field. Ball comes up, and Irish wins the ruck contest. They've done a good job of that today, and the ball will be kicked towards the Irish forward 50. Ball goes bouncing shallow entry. Ball comes to Colombian hands. Colombia with numbers there by that 50-meter arc, as they will get it out of trouble over the defensive end, and the ball goes way up. To see the Colombians will have to work on getting those kicks a little bit lower. That one was a bit high, but they do maintain possession, at least for now. Ball goes back up in the air. Where's it going to land? As it lands on Irish arms. Kicked low along the ground, where we've seen much of the game as it gets wet. As leaning towards the get the ball was Karen Lawler, but we hear the umpire's whistle as the ball will come. And where is the ball? It's going to be in Irish hands. That is a free kick for Team Ireland. Kick to a marking contest, and good job defending the ball and gaining space was Shannon Stevenson. Boy, she's been electrifying to watch today. Kick says the ball goes bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. Will it stay in play? Yes, it will. Favorable bounce for the Irish as they're trying their best. Remember, it's the ball that is to stand bound, not the player, but the ball does eventually go out of bounds.
And umpire blows the whistle. Now let's see what he strangely enough pointed the arms out to indicate it like it was out of bounds to the full. In fact, it did. It accidentally came out off a Colombian boot. So that means Dara, it's in the hands, pardon me, of Shauna Kendrick, who decides to square it up here for the Irish. Will Colombia go through and concede it for a point? They will now, and that is a minus score. So they go across to 10-6-66, clickety-click. Colombia, no score on the Payable app scoreboard, as the kick will now go for the Jaguares towards their halfback flank position, trying to find Benavides. Benavides goes in and tries to lay the tackle on Casserly, who slapped the ball along the ground as the siren sounds to indicate it is halftime here at Colonel Samuel Smith Park at the Humber College South Campus at Etobicoke in Toronto, Canada. And it is Ireland with the lead on the Payable app scoreboard, 10-6-66. To Colombia, no score. And if we look at that quarter, the effort from the Irish to just keep going and going. They haven't let up on Colombia. As we said, it could be very easy. They could put the cue on the rack. They know they're in the semi-finals, but they've just keep pounding and pounding and pounding away.
Yeah, I thought Colombia put up a little bit of resistance there in the early part. I was saying that some of those Irish goals were turning into behinds, but the skill of the Irish begins to wear down the Colombians. Again, just such great ball movement and execution for Ireland, and really adapting to this rainy weather here. They can play in any condition. You talk about the tradition and all the experience they have, and it's obviously not so much for the Colombians, but a treat to watch from a technical point of view, the way the Irish execute.
We should mention that they scored 3 goals, 5 that quarter, the Irish, compared to 7 goals, 1 in the first term. But if you look at it another way around, 8 scoring shots to 8 scoring shots. It was just a question of accuracy, and we do have to admit that the rain, as much as not like bucketing down, the teaming rain is coming down a lot heavier than it was earlier.
Yeah, it can make a difference for sure, but you look at, if you're Colombia, you're trying to pick out those little victories. Like you saw a free kick to the Irish in the right pocket, and you get the Colombian women getting numbers to the goal square. So just little things like that, the little fundamentals that you might take for granted from teams that are more experienced, and their coaching staff is going to try to hammer that in and try to learn a little bit as they go, and certainly they're getting an opportunity to see how it's done from a veteran, star-studded Irish team.
We'll take this opportunity to take a break. Thanks to Payable Apps, it's Ireland 10-6-66, Colombia no score. You're watching the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup, presented by Payable Apps, helping sports teams simplify fee collection through their Google add-ons. PayableApps.com.
AFL has huge potential, not only in Colombia, but also Latin America. And Orica is really excited to be part of that story.
Los lazos humanos entre Colombia y Australia son de una importancia altísima. Para ambos países el deporte es algo muy importante en la vida. Tenemos las culturas muy similares en este sentido, con los valores de equidad de género, de participación. En la cancha todos somos iguales.
Mi vida siempre se basó en el tema del deporte, porque el deporte a mí me salvó de todo aspecto posible, que normalmente en la juventud no. El tema de alcohol, de vicios y demás, a mí llegó a mi vida fue el deporte. En el 2019 tuve un accidente de tránsito donde las oportunidades de volver a tocar una cancha eran nulas. aún los médicos me dicen, tú cero deporte, cero correr, jugar, saltar, deportes de contacto. Siento que mi familia en esa parte forma un pilar importantísimo. Mi mamá estuvo conmigo y me cuidó como nadie lo hizo, porque era la que tenía y se aguantaba la de mamá, no quiero a nadie en este momento.
AFL Colombia has the potential to have long-lasting impacts in the communities. Entonces, Alejandro, Oscar y Stefania, we chose these players as the future leaders because they showed throughout the selection process and throughout their time in the organisation that they are future leaders and they are really focused on developing others.
O sea, la idea es crecer aún más, estar en un nivel alto para así poder llegar y enseñarle a todos a mis compañeros.
Para mí la beca es una oportunidad enorme, una oportunidad que no se le presenta a cualquiera, una oportunidad que ya tenía mi nombre destinado en ello. Voy a vivir siempre agradecida con este deporte porque me dio una luz, porque yo vivía mi vida después del accidente, vivía mi vida, pero no era feliz. Cuando conocí el deporte y empecé a jugar de nuevo, y vida está de testigo, mi vida cambió.
That's the culmination of a lot of work for a lot of people. A heap of people have contributed to this, and it's great to see them living out their dreams, and we're all very excited for them, and it's going to be great.
Great news, sports teams. Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Setup is easy. Install the Payable Forms add-on. Link your payment provider. Share and get paid. Players can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more. Streamlining the process for them, all while you stay organized with real-time updates. Registrations, uniforms, races, sponsorship, clinics, coaching, training, and classes. Keep it simple with Payable Forms.
Aussie Rules the World podcast is a podcast dedicated to bringing our listeners information from international Aussie rules, from news, reports, reviews, and interviews from people dedicated to building Aussie rules internationally. During the Transatlantic Cup, World Footy Shorts will be bringing you daily updates from what's happened from the games and around the event. And this is Aussie Rules, the World podcast.
Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Install the Payable Forms add-on. Link your payment provider. Share and get paid. Your customers can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more. Save time and hassle by automating your payment process quickly and simply. Payable Forms gets you paid.
And welcome back to Colonel Samuel Smith Park at the Humber College South Campus at Etobicoke in Toronto, Canada, for the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup. Thanks to Payable apps, we are in the middle of Game 2 of Women's Round 3, Day 5 of this 10-day tournament. And at the moment, the lead is with the Irish, 10-6, 66 to no score for Colombia. For those that have just joined us, let's remind you that, of course, Ireland are the 2017 AFL International Cup champions, the last International Cup that was played. Also, the 2022 AFL European champions up against Colombia, who are making their debut in international Australian rules football. Though Colombia so far can hold their head high. Patrick McNeil, who's joining myself, Peter Holden on commentary, because they did get a win in round 1 when they did have a comfortable 5-goal victory over the French.
Yeah, it was very exciting to watch the Colombian spirit, a very feisty style of play, and it's fascinating to watch a new country and a new team try to establish their identity and see how they're going to play going forward.
And hopefully that raises the interest in teams wanting to play them. I was overhearing the control tent earlier where, let's just say, there's a few AFL officials there, and one of the chatter has been trying to encourage the USA and Canada to say, hey, it's not too far to fly down to Colombia. Maybe you guys need to look at every now and again, instead of having the Parallel Cup, which is just 2 nations, the USA and Canada, come on down to Colombia, have that tri-series. You've got extra competition and help bring along football in South America.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I would love to be on a flight to Colombia to commentate some action. But right now we're in Toronto, and we're on the campus of Humber College as the third quarter is underway. 66-0 is the score in favor of Ireland. But fast break for Colombia coming out of the center square, is getting confident with the ball. There was a Stephanie Guataleros. Ball will come into the forward 50, so a forward 50 for Colombia before Ireland gets one. Bit of a change of pace here to start this third quarter. Of course, Colombia going to the visitmississauga.ca, and Ireland kicking towards Toronto. And there is a free kick and a play on there for Dara Power. Kick along the right side as the Irish looking to reassert control, looking for their first forward 50 of this third quarter. Some candy sold there, but it wasn't being purchased by the Colombian. And again, that pressure continues for Colombia. That's what they're looking for, and a holding the ball call earned by Colombia.
Well, at least that's some positive signs for them to start their second half. The umpire gives the hurry up. They want to go with a short pass. Oh, they're looking for Pavita. It got stolen away from her. They'll swing around towards the pocket. Good mark taken, and swallowing it whole there is Shauna Kendrick, who'll be having a shot on goal from about 25 metres out on a 45-degree angle. Kendrick comes in and straight over the goal umpire's hat. He did not have to move an inch. And Ireland go out to 11-6, 72. Colombia no score. 16 minutes remaining, third term for Payable apps.
Another big goal for Shauna Kendrick, her second of the day. So, of course, she is going to improve her case to be in the conversation to be a Powerwood game MVP. Powerwood have donated carved trophies for each game MVP. Custom cedar supplies done right. Powerwood.com.
And she's a multi-sport athlete as well, not only of the obvious Gaelic football, but also plays tag rugby and basketball.
Yeah, certainly a lot of skills that you can be transferred over to Australian football. As a ball up in the middle of the field goes to Team Ireland. Again, Ireland now ahead 72-0. As this is their third and final game. This is the final day of women's round-robin competition. We know Ireland will be moving on to the semifinal to play Great Britain. Colombia's status unknown. We get a ball up here in the center of the field. It's tapped to the right as Team Ireland looking to march forward. Handball option executed there. Irish on the run here with the hands as it's kicked forward. Shallow entry forward 50. Ball dribbling along the ground. Comes out to more Irish hands as it's going to be booted. I believe that's Stevenson with a high kick. And that ball, they had to call air traffic control, and it finally landed 4 behind to make it 7-8, 74 on the Payable app scoreboard. No score for Colombia.
11-7, 73, no score. Just made a slight correction. Our graphics person very fast on the button as we wait for the ball to be brought back into play from fullback at the Toronto City Centre end of the ground. All intercepted. Good mark there. I think it's Anne-Marie Troy that's got that. And she'll want to go short to the pocket again, finding Stevenson. How does that look? I think she's got 5 for the day. Stevenson, like talking head, she's burning down the house. She's got 5, and they go to 12-7, 79. Colombia no score. 14.5 minutes remaining in the third term. And at this stage, I believe that makes Stevenson the top goal scorer on the women's side of the competition.
Bag of goals today for Shannon Stevenson, doing it every which way possible, marking. And we've also, as I said, seen her turn on the afterburners as the Irish attack has no shortage of weapons on a day like today. We will get a ball up at center again. Ireland kicking towards Toronto. Colombia kicking towards Mississauga, and you absolutely should visit Mississauga.ca. Free kick by the Irish. Irish club goes into the forward 50, ball bouncing around the ground. Who is going to pick it up? In wet weather, the rain has been off and on, but the ground doesn't dry when it's not raining, as we have a tackle. I don't know if there was much in the way of prior opportunity there, so that football will likely belong to the umpire. No, correction, it is going to belong to the Irish, as that is going to be kicked up and deep into the goal square. Ball goes bouncing off some hands. Battle for it along the ground, as that was Shauna Kendrick trying to get her hands on it. She's been excellent today for Ireland. A lot of impressive performances there. No shortage of candidates for that Powerwood game MVP. Ball on the ground, 4:54 Ireland, and it's going to squirt to the out-of-bound line, but it stays in the boundary, as there is an interception by Colombia. That was Valentina Rodriguez getting the ball in, moving it back quickly now. Ireland back in possession as Catherine Byrne with it, and we've got a tackle here as we're about past the 4-minute mark of this third quarter.
So a chance now for Colombia, the Aguares, to try and build something off this half-back line. They've already gone inside 50 once this quarter, which has been a positive, but this kick is intercepted too easily there by Casserly. Casserly now will go on the left boot. She almost coughed it up. Ball just bounced out the back door, looking for Lawler to try and pick it up. Right up against the boundary line. She's fighting in that with I think it might be Valentina Rodriguez back there. And the ball very close, about half a metre in, and the umpire now will blow the whistle and call for that ball up. Just at the half-forward flank for the Irish. They're leading 79-0 at the moment. We'll just repeat what the highest score so far been in the tournament. I think there was that USA victory over France, 125-0. So Ireland do have a bit to go to try and beat that record. Umpires indicating a throw, and it will be a free kick going the way of the number 8 in Karen Lawler. Lawler wants to go short to the pocket, had the lead on. Very smart by Kendrick. Kendrick wants to swing it inboard. Oh, the passing of the football's impressive from the Irish. They're looking a lot cleaner with their skills than they did in the game against Canada. Abby Noonan takes the mark. She's looking for her third goal, and it's just on the side of the boot. They come back. I think it did at the very last second. It had an unusual start again. Unusual curl on that one. Ireland 13-7-85. Colombia no score. That you heard was me having the tape stuck in the VHS machine. 11.5 minutes remaining third term.
Perhaps that was Peter trying to communicate to our official that Abby Noonan, not just a goal kicker, but perhaps in contention for a Payable Apps mark of the tournament with the lead up to that goal, as the ball will return to center. 13-7 Ireland, as it was just mentioned. 85-0 is the score, as a nice tap off the ruck there by Catherine Byrne, but the ball goes the other way as Colombia trying to make something happen here. It's on into the forward 50 for the Colombians. High kick up, and again, they have to work on lowering those kicks, but they do have the ball where they want it to be, as the ball on the ground right now. Attack for Colombia, who is kicking towards the visitmississauga.ca end, as the ball is in dispute. It's going to be won by Colombian feet, but quickly turned over. Play on off the mark for Team Ireland, as it's kicked out through the corridor. That is going to be marked cleanly. And again, play on. No one near you. Might as well play. And that's, I think, the first time we've seen a player use the touch of the ground to move the ball forward. You can do that. You don't have to bounce. You can touch off the ground. Good handball there by the Irish. Bit tough to execute that in the weather, as it's kicked forward. Ball will go off for a minor score. I believe that was Shauna Kendrick of the South Dublin Swans registering that minor point. 13-8-86 for Ireland. No score, Colombia.
And the player responsible for the drive down the wing, by the way, was Annie Walsh. And the score now moves to 13-8-86 to no score. This is thanks to Payable Apps, helping sports teams simplify fee collection through their Google add-ons, payableapps.com. Umpire will throw the football up about 20 metres out from the Irish goal. Doing the rucking there is Brosnan. Managed to knock the football forward. Trying to get onto it is Lawler. She goes to ground. They've got to spin around and get out of trouble there. Pavita is looking nearby for the Colombians. And the umpire blows the whistle and says, I'll take it back. Well, Hawke's in there as well. And the umpire will restart proceedings. Once again, Benavidez going up in that contest versus Brosnan. Oh, Stevenson just roped it lovely, and she's got 6. 8 for the tournament so far. Shannon Stevenson just making it look easy. 14-8-92 for the Banshees. The Colombian Jaguares, no score. 9.5 minutes remaining third term, thanks to Payable Apps.
What tremendous football by Shannon Stevenson. She's been a treat to watch as is this entire Irish Banshee offense kicking towards Toronto this quarter and doing so with great efficiency. We talked about improving their kicking efficiency at the half, and boy, they've done that here in this third quarter as we're getting to the halfway point. Remember, it is 17.5-minute quarters in the women's side of the bracket. This is the final day of women's round robin action. We know Ireland will be taking on Great Britain in the semifinals. The other side yet to be determined. Ball bouncing along the ground as it's kicked by the Irish feet. Colombia looking to take possession, booted towards forward 50 along the left side of the field. We've got Ray Stevenson. We talked about her speed. Well, she's trying to protect the ball as well as in pursuit was Colombia's Natalia Stafiana Diaz-Pita, and the ball ends up on the ground, and we will see the ball go forward, and it's going to be a Colombian free kick courtesy of Laura Garcia, the vice captain of Colombia.
Garcia elects to go with the hand pass, a big looping hand pass to Tarachi, puts it under all kinds of pressure. Gutierrez now has it, got caught immediately, and the umpire said, like Snoop Dogg, you dropped it like it's hot, and it's a free kick going the way of the Irish. And they'll have the ball on the halfback flank, this time through Dunn. Dunn now moves the ball out towards the wing position to Kate O'Reilly. O'Reilly was under all kinds of pressure, had to get the hand pass over the top. Her teammate had absolutely nowhere to go, and the umpire said there's no prior opportunities. Anne-Marie Troy, in fact, said yes, had the prior opportunity. And very quick on the whistle for my money, but nonetheless, a free kick for the Jaguares, and Colombia will move the ball up the line, taking a diving mark, Laura Garcia, and she has it on the half-forward flank position. They're attacking the visitmississauga.ca end of the ground with hundreds of must-see experiences, plenty of gorgeous scenery, world-class eats and events. Mississauga is yours to explore. They go inside 50 now. It's being held up. Watching on the outside of the pack is Sarah Rodriguez. Will call for a ball up. Let's see if Colombia can get on the scoreboard from here.
They are inside 50, Peter, so there is an opportunity, and we have seen a few more free kicks, a few marks, and a couple of free kicks awarded as well. So Colombia, again, looking at the little things. That's what they want to do is they hover around that 50-meter arc, trying to get another 50, inside 50 entry. Ball is on the ground, not a lot of time and space, and the ball is still available for whoever wants it, and it's going to be brought forward. Handball entry for Colombia inside 50 along the ground. There's a lot of soccering going on here. The Colombians playing to their instinct that brought the men's team to the Gold Cup final. Wasn't enough to beat Argentina, but Colombia trying to get their points here in this contest, but it's kicked out, and that will go to the middle of the field. All of a sudden, there's all kinds of space here as the Irish player, I believe that was Louise Scully, as we get a whistle from the umpires. We have just under 7 minutes to go, and it's going to end up in Colombian hands. Free kick for Colombia. And I thought that originally that was going to be number 15, but the ball has been handed off. Handball option, but nobody there to receive it. But it's going to work out okay for Colombia anyway, as the Irish get it back. A ball on game moving pretty quickly here at Humber College in Toronto. Ball kicked out of trouble for Ireland. Goes bouncing on the ground, chasing after it's Karen Lawler. Lawler's got now time to go for a run. She'll run past the 50-meter line, and it goes kicking into a contest as Kendrick couldn't pick it up. And ball still available there on the ground. 4:50 for Ireland, and play is whistled down. 6:13 to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, Pineda going in that contest. You could just hear the crunch of the two bodies hitting each other. Fantastic football, though. Standing on the mark, though, is Shauna Kendrick, and the umpire gives a little hurry up. And Colombia now will move the ball towards their halfback flank on the EDA Live broadcast side of the ground. Picking it up off the ground is Grace Oldham for the Irish Banshees. Wants to come inboard with a kick. Should have been swallowed there by the number 9 in Brosnan, who had it momentarily, and the umpire said just enough to be pinned for holding the football. So it will be a Colombian free kick going the way of Laura Garcia. Garcia with the football, just looking around, decides to kick up the line, an odd wobbly kick. Just picked off there by Lawler, got it off the bounce. Wants to come inboard with a kick. Now, a mark was taken, but the umpire blew the whistle at the same time. And one of the Irish players down at the moment, not feeling all that great.
Yeah, I was waiting to see if we'd see the time on signal. I don't think we've seen that yet from the umpire, and she's going to have an opportunity to get up, and hopefully she'll be okay here.
Anne-Marie Troy just getting up, just going, oop, going to need the ice bath after today's game.
Yes, indeed. But she is going to take this free kick. And, boy, she's been very good for Team Ireland. She's going to back up, give herself plenty of opportunity. She's right in the center. She'll kick it forward. That's going to be a clean mark executed by Team Ireland along the right side as we're into the final 5 of this third quarter. As backing it up, it's kick forward. Shallow kick will enter in past the 50-meter arc. Handball out the back, and it's kick forward as that's going towards the goal square. No mark to be had there, and it's going to trickle through for a minor score, and that's going to show us on the Payable app scoreboard. It is going to be 14-8 Ireland 92, no score for Colombia. Correction, 14-9 Ireland 93, no score Colombia.
As the kick out towards the centre half back position for Colombia was trying to find Valentina Rodriguez, but intercepted is now an Irish ball and taken away here by Brosnan. Brosnan goes sideways with the pass, finding Grace Oldham. Oldham wants to try and spot up a target and does so and finds Annie Walsh. Walsh has already kicked one so far today. Previous member of the Cork Senior Gaelic football team. That includes 8 All-Ireland titles, 7 Munster titles, 9 Division 1 National League titles, and 3 All-Star nominations. And she goes for a kick at goal, and now she can say she's got 2 goals in this game.
Yeah. Ireland goes 15-9-99 on the scoreboard. Colombia, no score, Payable app scoreboard. As you mentioned, second goal of the game for Annie Walsh.
And it's all thanks to Payable Apps, helping sports teams simplify fee collection through their Google add-ons, payableapps.com. And keep thinking about our Powerwood Game MVP. Custom cedar supplies done right. Cedar supplies based in Western Canada, powerwood.com.
Yeah, no shortage of candidates for Ireland in that conversation as we look at the scoreboard. As Ireland, again, they know they're going to be playing Great Britain. They want to come into that game firing. And as Peter mentioned earlier, perhaps looking to set a tournament high in points. The USA was victorious 125-0 over France, and Ireland giving that a run for the money. And that's what you want to do, set goals and keep playing to the final whistle, as these teams don't get to partake in international competition very much. You want to make the most of your experiences. We get a ball up at center. Ruck is not going to be done correctly. Maybe the third time's a charm here for the umpire, as we're hearing the whistles from the bench now. I don't know if that wasn't a 6-6 violation. I don't think this time it'll be Colombia getting a free kick.
It might have been that Ireland just broke into the centre square early, but nonetheless, the Colombians have the opportunity to create something here from the centre square. They'll go with the kick, and they managed to find Gutierrez, who almost got pulled to ground, managed to get a kick away in the nick of time. Had support there from Machia. They go back in and harass for a tackle. The Irish under pressure at the moment. Cassidy maybe being dragged off the football. The umpire said no, you can play on. Centre half forward now for the Aguares, almost resembling the rugby scrum, is trying to get in there, spinner. And the umpire blows the whistle and says, I'll take the football back, please. Right on the edge of the centre square. Colombia going to the visitmississauga.ca end of the ground. Ball thrown up in the air. Cassidy wins it down, puts it straight down the throat of Power. Dara Power bouncing football in towards the middle of the ground. The numbers here with the Irish, but managing to get involved is Palacio, who did well for Colombia. But getting in there is Brosnan, who got the hand pass away for it to be intercepted. The Colombians move the football back in towards the centre circles, only for to be picked up by CJ Murphy, who puts it to the advantage of Stevenson, who's got plenty of space to work with. Stevenson goes for a run, shot on goal from 45 metres out, and it dribbles away to the left-hand side. Minor score, and that brings up the century for Ireland. Raise your cricket bats, 15-10-100 for the Banshees. Colombia no score, minute and a half remaining third term.
Indeed, 100-0 for the Irish, as that will lead to a goal square kick for Colombia following that minor score. That will be kick total on the left side, slightly towards the left side. Ball goes bouncing around as umpire whistle goes again as we're nearing completion of this third quarter, as it is Colombia trying to defend this Irish free kick. Ball is kicked cleanly. Nice mark completed there by Eilish Dunn of the Cork Vikings. 20-year-old making her international debut. Free kick off an Irish boot, and that is going to be a major score. It's a 16-10, 106 for Ireland. No score for Colombia on the Payable app scoreboard.
And we'll just keep an eye on who that player was that put it through for the Banshees. Thanks to Payable Apps, helping sports teams simplify collections through their Google add-ons. And I think that might be through Eilish Dunn. Dunn there, the goal for the Irish Banshees. And we should mention about Eilish Dunn, plays for the Cork Vikings. This is her debut in International Australian Rules football. And as we said earlier, captain MTU to the Fitzpatrick Cup Championships. And of course, the Fitzpatrick Cup is the University Cup challenge between the Irish and the English universities. Now going in there to try and get the football and extract it out there was Walsh. Couldn't do so. Ball's a bit slippery, as we said. It's like a piece of soap out there at the moment, as much as the rain's kind of easing off here at the moment. Umpire blows the whistle, says, I'll take the football back, please, between centre and centre half forward. The Colombians attacking to the right of screen, which is the visitmississauga.ca end of the ground. Gutierrez gets through the pack, gets on the left boot, goes inside 50 with the kick as the siren sounds to indicate three-quarter time in our 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup match game 2 of round 3 in the women's division, day 5 in the tournament. And for the Irish Banshees on our Payable apps scoreboard, they tick to 15, pardon me, the scoreboard wasn't up there for a moment. 16-10, 106 to Colombia, no score. They are about 19 away from trying to match the USA's record when they racked up 18-17 versus the French.
Yeah, you know the Irish are going to be aiming for that, and Peter was watching. They weren't able to keep up on the scoreboard because the Irish were scoring with such great frequency in that third quarter as the attack, just so many weapons and such great execution. And as I said, impressive to watch. Maybe not so much for Colombian supporters.
I know the pressure's going to be on you at full time, but for the Powerwood MVP, who are some of the players that are standing out at the moment?
Well, I'd have to say, obviously, Shannon Stevenson, 6 goals, and not just how she's kicking, but how she's creating them. She's been really fun to watch out there. Hasn't been hesitant to go for a run with the ball, but it's been really complete. You look at even like a player that hasn't gone on the score sheet, like a Amanda Bronson kind of helping lead the way, or a Karen Lawler. So many good names for Ireland. And, of course, Shauna Kendrick has found her way to kick a couple of goals as well. So definitely no shortage of candidates there for the Powerwood game MVP. They have donated trophies. They are custom cedar supplies done right, based in Western Canada. You should visit powerwood.com.
And having a look at the goal kickers at three-quarter time, Shannon Stevenson from the Irish with 6 goals, 3 to Abby Noonan, 2 to Annie Walsh, and singles to Kendrick, Dunn, Condon and Troy. We'll take this opportunity to take a break at three-quarter time. It's the Irish by 106 points of the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup, presented by Payable Apps.
Great news, sports teams. Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Setup is easy. Install the Payable Forms add-on. Link your payment provider, share, and get paid. Players can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more, streamlining the process for them, all while you stay organized with real-time updates. Registrations, uniforms, races, sponsorship, clinics, coaching, training, and classes. Keep it simple with Payable Forms.
And we're back at Colonel Samuel Smith Park at the Humber College South Campus in Etobicoke, Toronto, Canada, for the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup, presented by Payable Apps, helping sports teams simplify fee collection through their Google add-ons. PayableApps.com. Peter Holden alongside Patrick McNeil Ireland 16-10, 106, leading Colombia, no score, three-quarter time. Not too far away from starting this final term. Don't forget, coming up at 2 p.m. local time in Toronto, we have got Great Britain versus the USA. That should be a great game. And that will decide where teams finish in Group A, which is the Americas pool, consisting of Canada, the USA, and Colombia. At the moment, Ireland and Great Britain are set to meet in the semi-final on Thursday in Pool B. To get us underway, here's Patrick McNeil.
Ball up at center as we begin this fourth quarter. Again, Ireland, perhaps with the score of the USA-France game in mind from yesterday, they want to see if they can top that, as that was a 125-0 result. And the Irish had the ball. And remember, Ireland is kicking towards the visitmississauga.ca end, and that's something you should absolutely do, is visit Mississauga, as the ball is kicked along the right side. And marked cleanly executed by who else? Shannon Stevenson, as she'll make a centering kick. And again, sometimes a bit tough to hold the football if it's a little bit wet there, but a handball option executed by Ireland as it's kicked out the back for Team Ireland. As you can move backwards in Australian football, that is a mark completed, and the player option will back up just about 45 meters or so. Kick back center square. Nice mark by Stevenson. Chooses to play on, and she will kick, and that kick will go offline. Minor score 16-11, 107 Ireland, no score Colombia. On the Payable Up scoreboard.
16 and a half minutes remaining in this match. And, of course, don't forget, for Colombia and France, they still continue on. There will be more games for them. There'll be consolation matches. Each side will play a minimum of 5 games across 10 days. That's for both men's and women's divisions. Now, taking the short kick there was Walsh to Stevenson, who tries to curl round the corner. And the ball is out of bounds on the ball, 2 to 3 metres around from the right-hand point post at the visit Mississauga.ca. And you know what, Patrick? With hundreds of must-see experiences, plenty of gorgeous scenery, world-class eats and events, Mississauga, it's yours to explore.
And we have been enjoying exploring Mississauga and taking in some of those destination sites as the game action continues on, as Ireland moving it via handball. There's a chance to go for a run there for the Irish player, Amanda Bronson, the captain, and she has kicked herself a goal. Talking at quarter time about players that had an impact, but maybe not on the score sheet. Well, there's your goal for Amanda Bronson. 17-11, 113 Ireland, no score Colombia.
Earlier today, by the way, Canada defeated France comfortably 7-15-57 to no score. Nicole Baker being the best on ground for Canada in that game. As we're back in the middle of the ground, 113-point lead to Ireland over Colombia. As we throw the football high in the air, and away we go again. One out by Tashburn. Ball hit the ground. Trying to put her head over the ball and pick it up is Mahicha. She managed to move the football inboard towards Valentina Rodriguez. Back to Mahicha, who now moves it up between centre and centre half forward with the football. Galatiros goes in there, slams it on the left boot, wants to kick it inside 50. Awkward bouncing football. Just defeated the Irish. They can't quite pick it up now, going in to help there. I think it might be Scully. Just head over the football. Had support in there from CJ Murphy. Out to Scully, now on the right boot. Centre wing on the ETHER live broadcast side of the ground. Bouncing football one-on-one. And well read there by Anne-Marie Troy. Taps the football on the ground. She's trying to be chased down by Mahicha. Troy kicks it inside 50. Stevenson is lurking around if they can pop it out to her. Tackle being laid on by Kendrick. And the umpire just circling, blows the whistle and says, "I'll take the football back, please," and throw it up.
Yep, throw up for the umpire as we played a little more than 3 minutes here in this fourth quarter between Ireland and Colombia. Final round robin match for each of these teams. Ruck won by Ireland. Ball bouncing around there as the Colombians trying to see if they can prevent the Irish from adding to that lead, as ball is in dispute along the ground. The umpire whistle blows as that is going to end up in the hands of Team Ireland's number 24, it looks like Rachel O'Shea, the Cork Vikings. She'll have an opportunity to kick on an angle here. No, makes the smart decision to kick goal square. Kick to the captain, Amanda Bronson, who for the second time this quarter puts it through for a major score. 18-11, 119 Ireland, no score Colombia on your Payable App scoreboard. Don't forget to visit payableapps.com.
Yes, the one little cheeky thing in the football, if the captain calls for it, you give it to the captain.
Yeah, nobody wanted to get called out of kangaroo court at the end of this tournament as Ireland has added to their lead. And we talked about that 125-0 margin in yesterday's game, and all of a sudden the Irish have just one goal to kick before they equal that margin.
And players to consider that may be coming back into the Irish side. They're sitting out today. Amber Redmond, Marie Keating and Shafray Keane, who may pull on the jersey again in the semi-final stage on Thursday when they play Great Britain. The kick out towards the centre wing position by the Irish. Maybe intercepted here. Valentina Rodriguez had it and then got pulled to ground. She managed to get the little hand pass away. But it wasn't Rodriguez, pardon me. That was her going in there now. I think it might have been Garcia that got pulled to ground. Going in there is Tash Byrne. The umpire blows the whistle and says, I'll take the football back, please. Being brought to ground. Bohorquez. Umpire will take the football back again. Throws it high in the end. Bohorquez going to do the ruck with Palacio on that occasion. Trying to shuffle the way through Tash Byrne. Hand pass over the top to Scully. Scully's got to run away. Oh, she's being pulled down. The umpire said fairly. I thought it might have been dropping the football. Now he blows the whistle and says holding the ball. Like the crash test dummies would once sing. And it's a free kick going the way of the Irish. Going to end up in the hands of number 12, Denny Downey.
Well, good reference for Canadian music fans there as ball kicked along to Anne-Marie Troy on the right side. Nice to see her out. As she had a bit of a moment there where she was taken down to the field, but she's back out in action as Jill moving along the right boundary. Ireland goal centering kick there. Nice intercept mark for Team Colombia as that comes with a little under 12 minutes to play here in this fourth quarter. Kick up out towards near that, not quite near that 50-meter arc. There's a kick. Team Ireland centering kick to the goal square is not completed correctly. Colombia trying to get it out of trouble as ball still in dispute along the ground. As good protection there. Nice shepherding by the Irish player, Rachel O'Shea. Ball will end up in Colombian hands, though. No clean kick, and you hear the umpire whistle blow as I think it is going to end up in the hands of the Colombian player. So free kick opportunity here for the vice captain, Laura Garcia, to try to kick this out of trouble.
Garcia looking to, well, dangerously come in board. Really, probably should have stuck boundary side to my liking. Being trapped in there by Noonan. An umpire will ask for the football back and call for a ball up. 40 metres out from the Ireland goal. They're going to the Visit Mississauga.ca end of the ground. It's thrown up in the air. Here's the punch by Tash Byrne. Oh, got out the back here. Here's an opportunity for a shot on goal by Dunners away to the right-hand side. And will register as a minor score. 18-12, 120 for the Irish Banshees. Colombia, no score. A little under 11 minutes remaining in the final term for the Payable apps.
Goal kick. Colombia will find its way along the left side of boundary, and a nice mark completed there by the Colombian player. Looks like that was Stefiano Guataleros with the ball. Little candy sold there as it's kicked out in towards the middle of the field. Corridor kick and a nice mark again. So things on here for Colombia a little bit perhaps. It's nice to see a couple of marks in succession as the Colombians will have some options here. And it looks like a 50-meter penalty has been paid here. So that could be a 4:50 entry. I think that might be the first one of this fourth quarter for Colombia. Ball being marched forward now, and it ends up in Colombian hands in that inside 50 tackle. No prior there, but a nice tackle from Cueva Condon of the Team Ireland. And it is going to the umpire's ball. Ball up. Ireland with possession. It comes back to Colombia as the ball again inside that 50-meter arc. Colombia on the attack. Hasn't seen a lot of that part of the field. Of course, Colombia kicking towards Toronto. Ireland kicking towards Visit Mississauga.ca. And it's going to be a nice free kick completed by Elise Dunn, or mark completed by Elise Dunn. And she'll kick it across on the switch. And it's on again for Ireland. And the kick is going to go towards the Irish forward 50. Ball dribbling in shallow entry as it's a nice run up to the ball. And that was Shauna Kendrick running it, getting it, kicking it, pushing it through for a major score. 19-12, 126 Ireland, no score Colombia on the Payable app scoreboard.
Well, what I can tell you now, that score means it's the highest score that has been kicked in this tournament so far at the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup, thanks to Payable apps. And I've been told by that famous Philadelphian Brian Barish that the highest score that Ireland have kicked in an intercontinental tournament, that is being the International Cup, all this is 127 points when they kicked it against an Australian, what we call an Indigenous multicultural team that played in the 2011 version of the AFL International Cup. So they are 2 points away from breaking that record as the ball is kicked along the ground by Cueva Condon. Umpires pulled out a free kick to the Irish at centre half forward. Probably more back closer towards the centre of the ground than true centre half forward. Yeah, he's going to just mark it back to the spot just forward of the two centre circles. So Cueva Condon will end up with it. And of course, Quiver also plays garlic football in Cardiff and Camogie in London as she kicks the ball inside 50. Now here's a little grub roll on the ground looking for Shannon Stevenson. She's chasing after it madly with Pavida of Colombia, and the ball will go over the boundary line and out of bounds. We're talking about 15 metres around from the left-hand point post at the visit Mississauga.ca end of the ground.
Yes, which everybody absolutely should do with the hundreds of must-see experiences, plenty of gorgeous scenery, world-class eats and events. Mississauga is yours to explore, as we've been doing all week. Boundary throw in by the umpire. Ball goes way up in as the Irish on the attack here, looking to perhaps set records, as we referred to Brian Barish's research earlier, as ball is on the ground. Who's going to pick it up? It's going to be Colombia initially, but ball still much in dispute, and we should get a ball up. Absolutely nothing resembling prior opportunity in that scenario, as we have about 7.5 left in this fourth quarter. Umpire will take the ball, and we'll get a ruck contest deep in the pocket here. Chance for Ireland to get on the scoreboard again. Hands are up, and it's going to be kicked along, and that is going through, and it looks like that's a minor score. I think that was Shauna Kendrick again getting it off the boot, and that gives us 19-13, 127, no score Colombia on the Payable app scoreboard.
And here's the kick in from full back, goes towards a pack situation here for the Colombians as Quirk was trying to fight her way through. Hand pass coming out, trying to find Lawler, couldn't get on top of the football. Swooping nearby Palacio, at a momentarily Ospina, lost control of the ball. This one came off the side of the boot by Palacio, going towards the centre of the ground. Quick little hands around. That was done well by Benavides. They're having to go backwards to go forwards here. Got Deros there for the Colombians. Kicks it forward of the centre circles. Now going in there is Kate O'Reilly. Hand pass. Too much of a hot potato for a teammate in Dara Para. Had to go back and get it again. She kicked it out towards the centre wing on the Lake Ontario side of the ground. Player ducked the contest there as Galteris goes in to lay the tackle, and the umpire says that's a free kick there for the Colombians. And they'll have the opportunity to take the football away here through Stefania Galtiers, who played with the Darebin Falcons in Australia for 5 months, courtesy of the Orica Future Leaders Scholarship.
Yeah, that type of development is going to be crucial for moving the game forward in in Colombia, I should say. That experience in Australia for the Colombian players. Ball dribbling along the ground. Where's it going to land? Lands in Irish hands. The attack is on again. Play on is the decision by Ireland. Ball will go bouncing, and actually this is going to be brought back as we have just 6 minutes to go here in this fourth quarter, as the ball kicked back towards the site of the whistle for the umpire, and this is going to be a free kick for Colombia right around the midfield portion. And 5:47 left. Ireland ahead 127-0 as Colombia gets the opportunity to push forward 50, and that is a nice intercept mark for Team Ireland. That is a nice short kick on the follow-up as Ireland on the counterattack. Centering kick here coming out, and multiple options here for Team Ireland, executing very well. And Marie Troy not able to reel the ball down. She tries to protect it, but there's Colombian pressure there as well. Troy will get it. She's being hounded by the Colombians. She'll move backwards, try to create some sort of space for herself, and she finds a handball option. Louise Scully will kick it forward. Ball on the ground, but there's Irish legs running all over. Trying to get to it is Dara Power, but she couldn't get to it before it met the boundary line.
As we said earlier, Dara Power first played her Aussie rules in 2020, right here on this ground with the Toronto Central.
Team Ireland handball option. Kicked as a centering kick there. Nice attempt at an intercept mark. Colombians couldn't clearly execute. Ireland remains on the attack. No prior there, I don't believe, and that should be a ball up. As we have about 3.5 to go here in this fourth quarter. Ireland looking to finish strong. As Peter mentioned earlier, these teams will all continue, even those that don't make the semifinal round will have placement games and whatnot. Opportunity for more international footballs. Rachel O'Shea with it for the Irish. And ball in dispute on the ground as a battle to the ground, and we hear the umpire whistle go. 3:15 left here in quarter number 4. That ball is going to go the way of Ireland for a free kick in the forward 50.
And a quick little hand pass away for the player running on by Anne-Marie Troy. Wants a shot at goal, and that looks pretty good. That's a contender for a Payable Apps goal of the tournament there for Anne-Marie Troy. That's her second of the game, and 2014, 134 for Ireland. Colombia, no score. We should talk about what Colombia does have coming up. We know for certain that they will be playing France. That will be a Thursday morning game, 10 a.m., a consolation match. And then on the on either the second last day, or I think, yes, the second last day of the tournament, on the Saturday, they will be playing the loser of what will be a Canada versus USA semi-final.
Yeah, opportunity for them to play somebody else is obviously they've played France already, but they will get an opportunity to play one of their Western Hemisphere rivals, we can call it, for the first time, as it is their international debut for Colombia. So they're looking to have things to build on heading into those last 2 games. Again, every team gets to play 5 times. Irish possession in the middle. The ball is
thrown.
Yeah, I was going to say not cleanly distributed, so that's going to lead to a Colombian free kick. So sometimes maybe those rugby instincts kick in, and that leads to a free kick. You cannot throw the ball in Australian football. You have to punch it. Of course, you have the option to kick it as well or run with it, which if you run every 15 minutes, you've got to bounce it off the ground. Ball is kicked forward for Colombia. Yes, we've got a contest here towards the middle of the field. Colombia again in yellow, Ireland in green. Ball on the ground, and good ball protection there. Good use of the body, Shepherd, to protect the ball by Ireland. You see the experience there, but not enough to get a clear victory for the ball. Again, that will end up in the hands of the umpire.
And we're between centre and centre half forward for Colombia, who are going towards the Toronto City centre end of the ground. It's Geraldo who tried to get a hurry kick away from there. That didn't work out. Going through the Murillo, she gets taken high, and the umpire will give a resulting free kick to the Aguilares. Well, they've got about 1 minute and 10 seconds to get on the scoreboard. It'll be a heck of an effort against the Irish, who are set of the 2017 AFL International Cup champions and the 2022 AFL European champions. The kick, though, is intercepted, and it will be sent back by the Irish in the direction of Nolan. Nolan comes chasing out after the football, tries to protect the ball. She's all over the top of it, being warned there by Maricha. The umpire says he's not in possession, and it will be a free kick. So in the hands of Nolan, that's Saraka Nolan, who of course is an electrician by trade and plays for the South Dublin Swans. Gets it across there quickly to Louise Scully, who goes to an open goal square. It's a bouncing football. Will it sneak through? I think it might have got there. It has. What a goal. Louise Scully, certainly a contender for the Payable Apps goal of the tournament. I think everyone was watching the ball. It was just bouncing. It was wobbling in all kinds of weird directions. It did the Colombians' head in, and it just somehow trickled along for the last 10-15 metres.
Kind of sums up how this day has gone for Ireland, firing every which way to score. 21-14, 140 North score. Colombia is the final on the Payable Apps scoreboard. Comprehensive victory for Team Ireland. They will move to 2-1. Colombia drops to 1-2 in the Vision Class Toronto standings. What a victory, what a showing for Irish Aussie football today in Toronto.
Absolutely dominant from whistle to whistle. But let's give some praise for Colombia in that second quarter as well. They stopped the bleeding. They only allowed Ireland to score 3 goals, 5. They kept pressing, they kept attacking, they kept harassing. They would make sure that there wasn't as clean as disposals Ireland would have liked in that second quarter, but then Ireland just showed their experience in that second half. The way they were able to connect, they were able to spread and run, never being caught flat-footed, and again, they're just showing why they've got so many trophies in the cabinet.
Yeah, no question about that. And we said as well, we actually get a chance to look at the tournament scores. It is Shannon Stevenson vaulting ahead into the lead, and Anne-Marie Troy finds herself at second. So this game doing wonders for the individual stats, especially with those 2 Irish women who find themselves 1 and 2 in the goal-kicking race thus far for Team Ireland.
And that's thanks to Payable Apps, helping sports teams simplify fee collection through their Google add-ons, payableapps.com. I'll get you to think about the Powerwood MVP. I know it's going to be a very difficult decision. While you do that, I'll go through the goal kickers in particular for the match. Stevenson kicked 6 goals in the game. It was also 3 goals to Abby Noonan, 2 each to Kendrick, Brosnan, Walsh and Troy. Singles to Dunn, Condon and Scully, resulting in that final score of 21-14. 140 to no score. Powerwood, their custom cedar supplies done right. Their cedar supplies based out in the western side of Canada. You can visit them at powerwood.com. Who are you giving the game MVP to?
Well, so many impressive performances, not just the goal kickers for Ireland, although there were a lot of those as well. But it's really tough to turn down that eye-popping 6 goals from Shannon Stevenson, and she was scoring them every which way today. Just so impressive. I said the Jets were turned on, the boot was in fine form, and I have to say 6 goals. Shannon Stevenson is your Powerwood game MVP.
And that wraps up proceedings for Game 2. Women's Round 3, Day 5 of the AFL Transatlantic Cup Tournament, thanks to Payable Apps. Patrick McNeil, thank you very much for your company this afternoon.
Thank you as well, Peter. I know it's by popular demand that Peter Holden and Brian Barish have to call a Great Britain-USA game, so we look forward to that later on this afternoon.
Oh, yes, indeed. I was just watching those YouTube comments online, and we were absolutely full of praise. Thanks, Mum, for watching online. Me and Brian Barish from 2 o'clock to bring you that game. The Great Britain Swans currently undefeated against the USA Freedom, bouncing back with a dominant performance over France. We're looking to that one at 2 p.m. And you may want to watch that to see former AFLW footballer playing in that game, Danny Marshall, for the USA Freedom. Again, that game coming up at 2 p.m. Toronto time. I'm Peter Holden on behalf of the eThere Live production team. Thanks for joining us here at Colonel Samuel Smith Park in Toronto, Canada. 140-point winners, the Irish over Colombia.